Sorry about it. It was probably a good one too. I can't remember what we were talking about, but usually something. Redirecting. There we go. All right. Alex, I thought you were scuba diving for a second there. I thought you were tuning in from underwater.
Hey, as long as I can get in touch with you all and listen anywhere I am. Yeah, I'd even volunteer to go to Mars and still tune in to you.
Haha. Oh, thank you, dear. I love you. All right, let me get this show on the road here. Bitcoin looks like it's trying to breach the 112 again. Oh, something big just happened. What happened? That's what happened. It popped up above 112 for a little bit. All right. Yeah. And XRP popped up a little bit too. All right, let me just move this over here. Meeting is recording and on YouTube. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. There's people still piling in here. Bailey, happy that I bought during and after our Monday call. Yeah. Whenever there's big dips like that, a lot of people think, they're scared to buy because they think it's just going to continue down. And then sometimes it turns and starts to go back up and they're like, oh shit, I should have bought. I always say, listen, when there's a big dip, when there's a big drop, buy. And if it drops further, just buy more. And if it drops further after that, just buy more. That's the best dollar cost averaging you can do. But don't assume that the first drop is all there's going to be, or it's not the last either. Because sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But from 24.5 all the way down to 107, that's a pretty big drop. Still expecting it to go lower, but I might maybe it's not ready yet. Let's take a look. All right, so this is the interesting part. This was the previous bull flag here, back when we were hitting 112 right here. And when we broke above this bullish flag here, we retested. Remember that we also came to the halfway mark. After hitting the top, we hit the halfway mark and then broke out, bounced, hit the 112, broke through 123.2, and then we came back down to retest the 112 and then hit a new all-time. Now this is concerning because this is considered a double top after already retesting. Normally you have a new all-time high, 123, and you do retest before pumping out and breaking a new all-time high. And this one did right here. As you can see back here, we hit the 98K, broke out, hit 112, and consolidated and came all the way down and retested that 98K first before breaking out. And then we pumped all the way up to 123, and we came all the way down to retest the 112 first before breaking out. But where was the real breakout? I mean, we did technically break out if we look at it this way. If we look at this as a bullish flag, kind of like the last one, where we dip down just to retest here, and then we come up, and then we hit the top, and we came down halfway before breaking out. Broke out, but right here we double topped. We came down, and then we just pumped up a little bit higher. So from 123.2 to 124.5, not much of a huge difference. We did not hold above this level. So to me, that's just a double top. As you can see, we went above it, but we didn't hold above it. And we come all the way back down to that 112, and we bounced pretty high. As you can see, we bounced off of it pretty high, but it was still a lower high. And then we come below it and retest as resistance, come down lower lows, retest it again, climbing, come back up through it just to retest the downward trending resistance, and then fall back below and make another lower low. And then this time we come up and we hit it. We hit the downward trending resistance, hit it, bounce, and then pump through it, and then retest as support. That's all positive. That's all bullish. But I didn't go long here because it's too close to the resistance, which is the 112. So what I was going to do is wait to see if we can get above that. Now you can take this low and this low and this low and draw an upward trending support line, and take this and this high and this high and this high and draw an upward trending resistance line and wait and see, are we going to break out of this upward trending channel, or are we going to wind into this apex? This is another little apex right here where the upward trending support is coming into contact with the 112 resistance, the ceiling. So we have a floor that's rising, we have a ceiling that's staying the same, but we do have an upward trending channel heading to that. So now that we're hitting the 112, are we going to then keep bouncing our head on it, or are we going to finally break through? We were at 112, 152 at the moment. So technically we are right above it. If we zoom in, whoops. If we zoom in, you can see we did get above it and we aren't holding. Now I am on the 1 hour time frame. This candle opened above it. This candle opened above it, but we're not making higher highs yet. Let's go down to the 10-minute. What's actually happening here? We went above it, we retested, fell below it, retested as resistance, went back above it, and is testing as support. Interesting. It knows that that's the 112. It's doing its thing. It also wicked right up to hit the top of this upward trending resistance line from this small upward channel, right? And so the question is will it fall back below, or will this be it? Will this continue to pump up? If we hold above the 112, then we're probably going to break out of this upward trending little channel and it'll go higher. Let's just see, where will we go if that happens? Where is the next resistance? Well,
Nico, I don't think you're recording today because it says on the corner of my screen this meeting is being live streamed.
yeah, it's being live streamed to YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which will record as soon as I end the live stream. I mean, it's recording, but it'll just be saved on YouTube once I'm done. I did it right this time. So how I determine where it's going to go if it breaks out is I zoom out a little bit and I just look at the overall downward trending structure that we've been in for a while, all the way since the all-time high. And I look at all of these support and resistance levels. Well, here's one. Let's just look at them all right here. Boom, boom, resist. Okay, that was support right here, support, resistance right here, support, resistance.
Not seeing your screen.
I think that's on your end, my friend. I am sharing it. Does everybody else see my screen?
It's showing.
Yes.
I see it.
Yes, I see it.
Okay, what you got to do is up here somewhere, you got to click on more, and it'll give you the option of Nico's screen or, host or
Sorry.
whoever.
Yeah. Thanks.
No problem. So support and then breakthrough and then resistance before it fell. So that is a support and resistance level right there. I'm going to bring that over. That's the 114.8. There is another one down here somewhere. There's a little one right here where we had some bounce up and resistance. And then after this big fall here, we popped up and hit resistance there. And then after hitting the bottom of this channel, we came all the way back up to that level again. So there's something there. I don't know what it is, but let's put that over. That's 113.4 approximately. And over here, that was kind of support and support and support and resistance and resistance and resistance and resistance. So as we go up, as it starts to get back above 112, these are the levels that it will hit resistance at, and then possibly even retest the 112. And then if it breaks through, it will hold that as support and then come up and hit that at 114.8, and then possibly come down and retest this before breaking through that and then holding that as support before going up higher. And if it does go up higher, where is the next after that? It would be right here. We have support, resistance, and resistance. Let's bring that over. That is the 117. And let's just go back a little bit further and see what that was. That was resistance, 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 resistance before breaking out, hitting it as support, support, support before breaking through, come back up, retesting as resistance, dropping all the way down to here and come back up and hitting again as resistance. So that is a major support resistance level there. And if I take this back further, you can see that it was support back here. Resistance, support, 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 resistance, support, 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 resistance, resistance, breakthrough, support, 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 resistance.
Nico, can you name those lines? My screen is so small, I can't see your numbers.
Can I do what?
Can you, like you said, one was 114.8. My screen is so small,
Oh, yeah.
I can't see the numbers. Thank you.
Yeah, so the next one right here is 112. That's what we're banging our head on right now. Where the current price is 112. The next one up is about 113,400. 113,400. The next one above that is 114,650. And the next one above that is 117, right on the nose.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then, of course, there is more after that. We have another little weird resistance level here at 119, where we had resistance, resistance, support, resistance, which created like a strange pattern right here. This is more of a zone, I would say. This is more of a from, I would say, from 119 to this whole area right here. As you can see, we had resistance here too. So I'm going to just bring this whole thing forward. That is a zone between 118.2 and 119. There's probably some resistance there. In fact, if I bring that all the way back, you'll see that was an interesting level for some reason where we got caught in it, bounced on it, hit it as resistance, got caught in it, bounced on it, inside of it, resistance, resistance, got in it, resistance, got in it, bounced on it, resistance, resistance. So there's something going on here between 118, I would say 118.5 and 119.5. If we're going to be, just make that the whole $1,000 range there, 118.5 to 119.5, all the way over here. And these are just the different levels on the way back up before we get up to this level. Then we have another one.
So are these zones or areas, are those areas that we're going to scalp, or we're going to go in on a, when it hits the support and then buy in there and then it ride?
That's a good question. That is a individual type of thing, because just because, like, for instance, if it gets back up to this level, let's just bring this over here. This is the 122.222. Should be easy one to remember. Let me just bring that all the way over. I like to make everything even over here, otherwise it'll drive me crazy. And then what is this here? Oh, that was the previous high over here at 123.2, I believe. Now, some people don't do this. Some people don't care about all these little, you know, what do we call them? Fractions in the matrix here. These are just different levels of support and resistance that have happened. As you can see, when I'll get to your question here in a second, but as you can see, when we hit resistance and bounced, and then we hit it again here, and then went through it, and then held a support here, and then went above this line, which was the previous high at 123 right here. When we went above it, We bounced on it as support and we went and we wicked up to 124 and then we hit it, bounced, but did not make a higher high, and then hit it again, bounced, and then went through it and resistance. You can see, I mean, it's kind of amazing when you look at this, guys. Bounced, hit it again, green wick down, boom, went through it, green wick up, hit it again. So that's why I know there's something there. There's the line. Not only that, but if you go back all the way to here, that's exactly where we hit it. So, and then we got what's above, which is the all-time high. So these are, I'm not worried about any of these. Do we scalp in between all this stuff? That is what scalpers do. If we break and hold where we're at right now, do you need to get in here and get out here? No. If you get in here and it does come up to here, just know that it could bounce and come all the way back down and retest, but it may not. It might just go right through like this, might just go right through and then hold a support. So what I would recommend is that if you are going to go long here, if we determine that this is going to hold, first of all, which I don't know if it is, we could still see lower lows. But if we determine that this is going to hold, if you were to go long, right? And let's just say it does climb up to here. What I would do is I would just move my stop loss to here and then to here and then to here as it's going up. Because if this decides to just break through, then you don't want to get out. You don't want to close out the trade here on a scalp. You want to stay in it while it's riding up. So instead of putting a TP here and getting taken out, because it could hit that and bounce and come back down, just let it hit your stop loss. But the reason why you have a stop loss here is to take the profit if it's not going to continue. But if it is going to continue, then it won't hit your stop loss. It'll just keep going, right? And so why close it if there's a chance it's going to keep going? In other words, let your winners run, as the old trading saying goes. If it's winning, don't stop it from winning. But what you can do is protect yourself from loss by just continuing to move your stop loss up into profit. Now, some of you are just looking for the big move, the big swing. You know, is this the one? Is this the one that's going to go all the way to 150? I wish I knew, guys. Unfortunately, I do not have a crystal ball. And usually it doesn't do that. Usually it doesn't. Now, here's where you will wonder if it's going to do that. When we get up to the 124.5, once it's broken through all of these resistance levels on the way back up, and we break one, like right when we're back up here, guys, this is when we're going to be planning for that. Once it gets up to here and it's banging its head on 124.5 again, and as soon as it pops through, now what I will be doing is I will have a long position right here, even though it didn't break through yet. Because to me, that is very strong buying pressure to get us back up to the all-time high. And it's likely that it's going to pop through, right? And if it does that, it's going to be a big pump to the upside, probably up to the 128, 130 range, rather quickly, just like it did here on this breakout. Just like it did here on this breakout. Banging its head on an all-time high, 112, consolidates a little bit, and then boom, shoots up pretty high, pretty fast. So I would rather take a risk. That's where, if you're going to take risks in trading, that's where you take the risks, when there is a potential breakout of an all-time high. And so what do I mean by risk? That means normally we wait for the breakout and the retest. Normally we want to do this and retest and then confirm that it's going to hold above that first before we go long. That would be the safest thing to do. But what if it doesn't retest? What if it just shoots through and then flies up? Like, let's just go back and look at this example here. This one popped through. I mean, this was just this one came up to retest the 112. Never been higher than this yet, right? That was the all-time high back here. It came up to retest it. And then it created a bull flag pattern, consolidated into a nice little bull flag. And when it broke, it went exactly the length of the pole of the bull flag. and it consolidated again, but it never came back down to retest. All it did was create another bull flag. All right. But it never came back down here to retest this. It just went up and created what? Another bull flag. Just kept breaking bull flags. So here on this bull flag, I'm like, here's the problem with this bull flag right here. Generally speaking, when you're up against major resistance, bull flags tend to not break to the upside. So because bull flags normally break to the upside 70% of the time, but when you're up against major resistance, sometimes it hit it and then just falls back down. But I am a little bit of a risk taker. I'm a renegade. I'm a rebel. Sometimes when I think that just like listen, the lottery in Florida right now is $1.4 billion. Do I think I have a chance of winning that? It's like 200, like 300 million to 1 odds. But I'll still buy a ticket, even though I know it's ridiculous. The odds are better for me to get struck by lightning 3 times in a week and have a bird shit on my head all at the same time. But it's still possible, right? So, I even think that statistically, it's possible for you to take your clothes out of your washing machine and put it in your clothes dryer. And when the buzzard buzzes and they're done and you open it up, that they're all folded already. Technically, it's possible. But do you think that's going to happen ever in your lifetime? Probably not. But it's possible statistically, because someone is going to win. And it has happened several times, right? In the past where it was over $1 billion and somebody won. Who are these magical people? Or maybe it's no one winning. Maybe it's the government creating a winner, pretending, who knows? We can get real conspiratorial on this because maybe there is no real winner. Maybe they just pretend that there's a winner and they start over again to collect all your money from the dumb people who just keep believing and winning.
It's always California.
It's always California, right? It's always somebody, right? And there have been lottery scams like that before where some lottery commissioner was stealing millions from the lottery and living a large lifestyle until they found out. So who knows? But I still think that there's possibly still some good in the world. I did live in a neighborhood about 30 years ago where there was like 3 lottery winners in my neighborhood. So I thought the property values would go up in that neighborhood because people just kept seeming to win the lottery and like not there was no mega ball back then. There was no Powerball. It was just Florida Lotto. And there was a $13 million winner. Then there was a $9 million winner. There was like a $6 million winner, all in the same neighborhood. I was like, holy cow. So, we were all thinking that our neighborhood was lucky. But so I knew that regular people were winning. But I guess the point I'm trying to make here, guys, is that whenever we're up again, when things are statistically different, you still can take a chance. And so when we come from way down here, maybe even lower, it was lower. When we come from way down here at 98K and we work our way all the way up to the all-time high again, there's a lot of buying pressure. So even though we're up against resistance, I'm going to take a bet on this one. I'm going to go long, but I'm just going to put my stop loss right under this in case I'm wrong. So I'm really not risking a huge amount. And so same with up here. If we get to 124.5 up here, and we're banging our head on it over here, boom, 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 and creating a bull flag just like those, which probably will happen. It'll be like this. It'll look like this. It'll be a nice little bullish flag, and it'll be consolidating, probably like something like this. I'm going to be long in that flag, even though I don't normally recommend that. Normally, I recommend to wait for the breakout first. But the reason why is because to me, the reward far exceeds the risk. And I'm sure that most of you are a little bit risk takers. Otherwise, you wouldn't be learning about trading crypto. So what I will be doing is I'll be long somewhere in here, and I will just have a tight stop loss under here in case I'm wrong. That's okay. But if I'm right and this thing pops out, it's going to be like this. And it's going to pop up to 128 really quickly. And if I'm wrong, I'll lose a couple $100. I don't know. 500, I don't know. Depends on how much I have betting on this. But I know I'll make that back somewhere on my next trade, so I'm not worried about it. I don't overly worry about those things because if I'm right on this, I can make tens of thousands. So I don't worry about the reward. And now the odds of this going this way rather than going back down are much greater than winning the lottery. Just so you know, it's like a 70% chance of this breaking to the upside and only a 30% chance of it not. But when we're up against major resistance, sometimes that 30% chance comes into play more often. So that's when I get really excited when we're about to break, previous highs and things like that.
Hey, Nico, if I were to place a limit order on BTC, what's the number?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so just following up on what you just said about going long when it hits a certain price, right? Wanted to see what the limit order price I should put in. Don't want to forget or miss it.
I mean, that's hard to say. I would say if it's getting ready to approach the previous all-time high at 124.5, because this top line right here. In fact, I'm going to make that line red just so we know this red line is the all-time high, 124.5.
Mm-hmm.
If it's approaching that, if it's getting up into this realm and it's trying to climb back up into that level, me personally, I'm not going to be setting limit orders. I'm going to be setting market orders. I'm going to be in the trade. I'm going to be in. If you do set a limit order or a limit conditional order, I would say that here's the problem with that. It could just break the previous all-time high. Let's just show you an example. Like here was the previous all-time high at 120, 123, 123.4. And look, it came all the way down to, 112, bounced and went all the way back up to 123.4. Right here, this is exactly what I'm talking about. It's starting to approach again, the all-time high. I'm going to be long a market order. But if you, and look what it did. All it did was pop up to 124, came back down, retested, and then fell back through. So if you set a limit order above the all-time high, which here in this case it was 123.2, if you set a limit order up here somewhere at 123.6, let's just say, it will trigger it right here. You'll be long, but what if it doesn't hold above that? And all it's doing is just trying to break a new all-time high, just like it did here. This one just went up about $1,000 more than previously and then fell back below. So is that possible over here too? Yep, it could come up. It could just wick right through the 124, right up to 125 and come back down again. And then what do we have? We have a high, a higher high, and a higher high, all barely $1,000 apart from each other with major consolidation in between. And your limit order will get triggered. And then if you're not paying attention, you could go negative on that limit order. So I just like to be paying attention when it gets close to there and do a market order and just have a tight. Now you could do a limit order with a tight stop loss as well. I would say it would need to break the 124.5 because if it breaks 124.5, it is going to make a new all-time high. The question is how high? Right. Is this going to be the final push to the 1.6 on the fib, which would bring us up to 160, 170? Man, I hope so, guys. I hope so. But if it doesn't, and we can't get back above 112 down here, and this starts to drop back down again to, all the way down here to 105, 104, which is where I was giving, take profit targets at. That doesn't mean the end of the bull market. It just means we could have some further dumping first and some weird things going on with the tariffs and Trump and the judges blocking things. And I mean, it's a slow moving wheel. It's just slow. It just, a lot of things have to happen. The planets need to align. All kinds of stuff needs to take place. There is some big ISO 222, 2000, whatever it is, 20,000, 22. Regulations changing, I think in November, maybe September, the end of this month, I can't remember. And there could be some switches flipped that cause everything to change overnight. And we could wake up one morning and XRP could be at $100. So people are like, oh yeah, right. XRP's been around for 10 years and it's barely $3. Right. But all of the things that would cause XRP to go through the roof are being put in place right now. This is not a market cap thing with XRP. A lot of people think there's no way XRP could go to $1,000. The market cap would have to be quadrillions. And that's not true. The market cap doesn't have to be quadrillions. It's just in order, if XRP gets 14% of the entire SWIFT banking network, in other words, it's controlling or taking care of the transactions for 14% of the network, the old antiquated SWIFT network that's being switched over to digital currency. If XRP gets 14% of it, and that's modest, considering it's the only one that could be doing all the transactions right now. There are 12 or 13 or 4 or 5 other networks, XLM and Cardano and a few other ones that are on the SWIFT network, on the ISO list. But if XRP gets 14%, that would put XRP would need to be between $1,000 and $10,000 per coin just to handle the quadrillions of dollars worth of transactions that take place on a daily basis around the world. It's not a matter of how many are in existence. They will do 1-for-1 a stable coin against XRP in order to control it at that point to keep the price stable. Once it jumps up to, let's say, $1,000, maybe they'll keep it stable at that point, but it needs to be that much just to handle the transactions, the money flow. And for those few people that just already have a bunch of it, which is a very small percentage of the entire population of the planet. Okay, so what? A few people become 100 millionaires. A few people have tens of millions of dollars out of the blue that didn't before. Do you think they care about, do the big players care about that too much? Out of all the people on the planet, 1%, less than 1% of the XRP holders have more than 20,000 XRP. That's less than 1% of XRP holders, not 1% of all the people. There's way more people that not only don't have it, but don't even know what it is. And there's 99% of all the people on the planet that don't have any crypto. Let me just pull something up here and show you guys. See if we can find it. Yeah, I don't know what to keep doing with all my little.
Plus the margin of error of burn rate once it starts transaction on the Ripple platform on the XRP, the burn rate.
Yeah, I think the burn rate, what is that, like 5,000? I don't know, per day or something like that's low. I don't know if anybody knows that off the top of their head, but
No, it's low off the top of my head.
They have very, very low fees, and it's only burning the fees.
yeah. Man, I'm trying to oh, here it is. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, there's people a lot smarter than me that explain it, but listen, I'm hopeful that listen, even on the low end, 10, 25, $50, $100, very, very doable, very possible. But in order for it to do what they say that they're in the process of doing, it would need to be like $1,000 or more, 4,000, 10,000, something like that. And most people say that's impossible because of the market cap. And this might be the time when the market cap doesn't matter, because it has to be that high to stabilize the transaction volume. And I don't even understand how all that works, to be honest with you. But when I hear it explained, then I get it. We're talking about we're talking about if it's true, we got. And I mean, why wouldn't it be true that not only is all the banks and the Ripple CEOs having meetings with and talking about Visa, MasterCard, all of the SWIFT network, all the financial institutions around the world, all gearing up to switch over to ISO 222 approved networks, blockchain technology, switching to crypto, digital currency, all of these things are in place. And XRP being the leader in that lightning fast technology that allows for transactions to take place that will revolutionize the SWIFT network, revolutionize payment processing as we know it. And we are moving into the digital age. President Trump's talking about it. The Genius Act's talking about it. Everything's talking about it. And Bitcoin, on the other hand, holding Bitcoin as a reserve is like digital gold. What is the purpose of Bitcoin after that? It's not a transaction type of, we're not going to be buying our Slurpees at 7-Eleven with Bitcoin. We're going to be using dollar. Do you think they want to get rid of the US dollar? Do you think that the government doesn't want the US dollar to be the main currency in the world like it is right now, like it has been for the last 100 years? Now, generally speaking, currencies don't usually last more than 100 years as the main currency of the world. If you go back throughout history, about 100 years, 150 years or so is the top, as the max. But things are different. I don't think that the US dollar is going to lose its dominance. I don't think the US is going to lose its power dominance in the world in our lifetime. Is it possible? Yes. It looked like we were heading that direction, but I don't think it's, I think we set that back a little bit. We kicked the can down the road for that to happen in the near future with Trump and all the changes made. And I hope I'm not delusional there. I hope that this isn't all just an opposite situation where, the wings of the bird, the different parties and the different belief systems and the different ideologies are just two wings on the same bird, and that the powers that be don't really care what side you fall on or what side is in office or what side is making the rules, because they're all bowing down to the same bird. That's possible. But if we are going to digital currency, which it seems inevitable to me, then I think that we're going to see crypto become much more prevalent in everybody's life. And the banking systems, the Wells Fargos and the Chase banks of the world are getting in line already to offer not only custodialship, but banking in the crypto space, just like Coinbase, where you can have your Bitcoin, your XRP, and all your different tokens inside their ledgers, just like you can on Coinbase and XR and crypto.com and places like that. They would be stupid not to. They're missing out. There was a mass exodus into crypto and money was leaving the banks. The banks saw people withdrawing money and sending money to Coinbase from crypto.com every day. They even tried to stop some people from doing it. You might remember. But then they started to allow it to Coinbase. Why? Because Chase Bank has partnerships with Coinbase. Chase Morgan Stanley, they're partners with Coinbase. They're also some of the biggest ETF hedge funds in the world. They're all tied together. They're preparing, guys. They just didn't want the price to go through the roof until they got set up, until they took control of the majority of it. They're hoping you sell. They're hoping you get out. Oh, it's a top. It's $3. XRP is $3. It's pretty much the top. It's going to drop back down to $1.80. You better sell and take your profit. I'm not falling for that shit. I don't care. I can trade to make more XRP, but I'm not going to, me personally, I'm not selling the tops and trying to time that as far as my hodling accounts are concerned. As far as my holding accounts are concerned, I'm accumulating for the long term. As far as trading goes, yes, I will get out if Bitcoin pops up to here, and breaks through and makes a new all-time high. This is scalping. This is me getting in and out, taking profit. But when I take the profit, I'm closing the trade with more Bitcoin, not more US dollars. I'm trading on a Bitcoin margin. So I'm still trying to accumulate more. But I am getting in and out to take the profit because it's foolish not to when you know how to trade. But if you're just not trading, you're just sitting on the sidelines, buying and holding, I would try to accumulate as much XRP as possible. And I don't really care where. Like, it doesn't, Is a cold storage wallet better than a major exchange? Yeah, probably. But now there's new fears out there that if you have everything on a cold storage wallet and you go to try to sell it later, once they make the switch, then your wallets could be blocked because it's not on any centralized exchange, to try to prevent people from trying to skirt the system. That's a new fear that's now circulating. I don't know if that's true or not. So I'm just a little bit diversified. To me, Coinbase is just a bank. Okay. It's just a bank for crypto. It's a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange, one of the biggest in the world. Am I fearful? Not really. I mean, I have all the safeguards in place. I do have, I am trying to set up trust and maybe move that into a custodialship in some more secure manner. But at the same time, if XRP goes to $1,000 per XRP overnight, I will be mega rich, but a lot of it will still be on Coinbase. So what am I going to do? Have I had problems with Coinbase before? No. I've deposited and withdrawn tens of thousands of dollars without any problems from Coinbase. I have no problem with Coinbase so far. So I'm not telling you to trust it. I'm just saying, because it is true. Chad and I have said it for years. Not your keys, not your crypto. When you have crypto on these major exchanges, they technically are in control of your money. Something were to happen to them. But I am also starting to get concerned with the cold storage wallets, because really, who created these apps where who has access to the technology behind that cold storage wallet? I mean, you create a key, okay, I understand, but is there someone smart behind that app, that wallet, that created that wallet, that allows you to see it and transfer, that you could also have a problem with? I don't know, guys. It's beyond my scope of understanding some of this stuff, but I'm learning. I'm trying to learn as much as I can. I recommend you do as well. That's why we're here. And my first priority is to make a lot of it. It's like people worrying about taxes before they make money. Just make money first, and then we'll worry about how to protect it, how to safeguard it. But at the same time, you got to have something to worry about first before you get to that level. So my goal here is to try to help you accumulate more, make you more. And then, of course, also get educated on all of the different strategies out there to make sure it's safe and that you reduce your tax liability as much as possible. But I do know, as it becomes more and more mainstream, and as we get to that point where banks start to become custodians and stuff like that, listen, guys, if you're not in the system, you're out of the system, and that is okay. You can be out of the system. You can be one of those people that are totally outside of the system and sovereign and all that stuff. But life is more difficult to operate that way. It just is. Because you can't do a lot of the things that you think you need to do. You might be able to. You just have to live a different way to do that. Me, I'm already well in the system. I have companies and corporations and apartment complexes and trusts and holding companies and all kinds of things. We have to be compliant with the IRS and the entity structures and EINs and all that stuff in order to be able to get loans and refinance properties. You have to. They won't do it any other way unless you're just all cash buyer. And even then, that raises red flags. So I just said, screw it. Everybody I know who's super rich is in the system. It is the way it is. You got to play the game sometimes, but you don't have to. You don't have to. You can be. I do know people that are totally out of the system and getting by. They just figured it out. There is a way to do it. There's an old saying also that's like, the truth shall set you free. Right? I don't know if Jesus said that or if it was a Bible quote. I wasn't there when it was first said, but I think the truth, I don't know if it sets you free or it just makes you more paranoid, because the more you know, the more paranoid you can get as well. Ignorance is bliss. That's probably an accurate statement.
Yeah, for sure it is.
Right?
I wasn't there when it was said. That was great. I'm stealing that.
I don't know anything anymore. I don't know anything that, history, because I wasn't there. I don't even know.
Straight out of the Bible, the truth will set you free.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
That is straight out of the Bible. The truth shall set you free.
Yep, straight out of the Bible. I just wasn't there when it was said, so I don't really know who said it or what. And I'm not claiming that that's not true. It's just that the more I know, the more paranoid I become sometimes, because when I was a kid running around having fun, I wasn't concerned with all the crap that's going on in the world, and I was ignorant. but I was having a great time. The more I learned, the more scared I got about things, and the more people I didn't trust, and the more you have to look over your shoulder, the more all this shit. The more knowledge that you have, the more you have to like protect yourself from the things you just learned. And not only that, but as you learn more things, some of the things you learned previously become not true. I think it was oh geez, I can't remember the guy's name. Famous actor, comedian back in the early turn of the century. Basically is that, you know, he used to say, he said a lot of bad things, something about a lot of bad things happening in his life, but none of them actually happened or something like that. I can't remember. Someone can correct me on that, but all the bad things that happened in his life never actually happened. You know, it was all in his head. You know, it's the things we worry about and the things that we think are going to happen usually don't come to fruition. But then there's another saying that says that your worst fears will come to pass. So guys, I don't know. You could just drive yourself crazy with all this crap, right? All I'm saying is that in a zombie apocalypse, the worst thing that could happen with all of this is that the internet goes down, it goes dark, and we have no access to our crypto, our money, nothing. And then what, guys? Then what are you going to do? Are you going to be dealing with, you know, can openers in the street? Is that going to be the medium of exchange? People might have some cans they can't open. You got the can openers, you might be the valuable person. I don't know. But the point is that we're not living in that situation. And a worst case scenario could happen, but I don't plan for that. I plan for best case scenarios. Also, I plan to live longer than most people do. And so I don't say, oh, well, I'm only going to live till the average man lives to maybe 80 or late 70s. I'm not even going to bother. No, I'm planning to live a lot past that. And so, and if I don't, I won't be around to worry about it. And if I do, I will have a lot more money to help me during that time. So I always expect the best. And I'm trying to trust. I mean, listen, I've had bank accounts at Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, Truist, all these banks for many years, decades, Bank of America, decades, Wells Fargo, decades, never had a problem. They've loaned me shit tons of money to buy real estate over the years. They like me. I know them when I go in there. So why should I start doubting the banking system? Now, just because it's the system. I don't, I've used it. I've used it to my advantage many times. So I don't personally, I'm not going to worry about all that stuff right now. And crypto is becoming mainstream. It's becoming accepted. People are really coming around. Listen, we have thousands of people in our group right now. And just this group, there's tens of thousands around the world studying, learning crypto, probably millions at this point that have some crypto to some degree. And I'm saying all this to let you know, we are headed in that direction, guys. We are coming into the digital age. We are in it now. It's been here for a little while. Bitcoin is 15 years old. XRP is close to 15 years. When did XRP start? Right after Bitcoin, I think. So, yeah, but if it's only $3 now, why do you think it's going to go to $1,000, you know, soon? Well, it's taken 12 to 13 years just to get to this point. So could it take another 12 to 13 years just to double or triple in value? I don't think so. I think that all of the barriers and roadblocks that have kept XRP under $3 have all been cleared and solved. All of those problems, all of those issues, all of those legal battles with the SEC and the all of these different problems that they had are now solved and behind them. And I think that the powers that be might be keeping the price down temporarily while they get their ducks in a row. So let's see here. I know I ramble on about things, guys, but we're still banging our heads. And it looks like we did not break above the 112. It was trying, but it's having a difficult time here, guys. It did hit it. It came up and hit it, and it wicked up to the top of this upward channel right here. This line right here is the 112, and it now fell back below. So just like I was just saying earlier, looks like we might be coming back into this little channel here. Maybe. I mean, it could still pop up. We do have upward trending. We do have upward trending support here. And even in the shorter term, we have some upward trending support here. So let's just see. Maybe it'll just bounce on that and keep going. We do need it to get above the 112 because that is a major support and resistance level going all the way back to May when we hit it here and that was an all-time high. And then we consolidated for like 3 months before breaking out. And when we broke out, we hit it here in July, finally broke through, went to 123, came back, retested it, went to 124, came back, retested it. And now we're just coming back up to retest it. So is it going to hold as resistance or are we going to get back above it as support and continue up? Is this low that we hit down here low enough? That 107, 200 range. It was a nice W. I think Chad even mentioned that when we were down here that a W was forming on the 3 hour, I think he said. But, and there was, and it did. I mean, it did come down a little lower here, but then it did finally break up to the upside. Let's see. And even when we were looking at that, I said that, yeah, but maybe it'll only break up to the top of this downward trending resistance. And it looks like it broke up right to the 112. So that was a nice little pump to the upside. But is it going to hold? Is it going to continue and hold above it? Or are we just going to bounce off that and make another lower low? So that has yet to be seen. I don't care either way. I'm ready to go long if we hold above 112. And if we fall below this upward trending support, and maybe even get back below this downward trending resistance from the all-time high, I will just, go short again. But I'm not eager to get in a long or a short right now, guys. I know that that's what we're here for, to trade, where's the signals, blah, blah, blah. Some people are like anxious to trade all the time. But when we're in these tight little areas and it's trying to make a decision and we have very low buying pressure and we're up against all-time highs and we're trying to figure out which way we're going here, sometimes you got to sit on your hands and wait for the breakout. That's the most logical and smartest way to trade, is don't be trying to predict, especially when we're right here retesting a major support and resistance level. Wait for the break, either to the upside or the downside. And that would be a safer bet.
Nico, can we look at XRP?
Yes. XRP back to 285. But it's still in a big downward trending channel as well. So let's just look at this. Oh, it did come down and bang on the middle line again of this giant flag. We are in a big bull flag on XRP, which is positive. And generally, I always say we hit the top, we hit the bottom, we hit the top, and we hit the bottom. But before we break out, we usually hit the center line. And we hit that center line and we're bouncing on it. And we hit the top again and hit the center line again and hit the top again and hit the center line again. So, if we break out, that's why I have this red line here. If we break out to the upside, we're possibly looking at a $4.40 XRP in the short term and a new all-time high. But look where it's come down to, guys. It did come all the way down to this zone, which was previous resistance, going back quite a bit, quite a ways. And then it was support for a little bit when it broke above that. But before that, it was just resistance right up here into the 280 zone. We did break above it, hit 330, 340, and then came back below resistance, and it was resistance all of this time until we broke above it and made a new all-time high. And all we're doing is coming down and retesting this. Maybe bottom, double bottom, triple bottom, maybe, and maybe it's time to break out. I hope it is. I hope it is. I got a lot of XRP. I'm betting on XRP being the thing, being the one. Don't get me wrong, I like Bitcoin. And Bitcoin gets to $1 million, $2 million, $5 million. That might be a 10-year prospect, whereas XRP, Bitcoin can 10x, let's say, in the next 5 years. XRP could 100x or 1000x. So the ROI potential for XRP might be greater than Bitcoin in the short term, in the near future. I have both, but the big, if XRP goes to $10 or $20, Bitcoin could be at 170, 200. So what is that? If Bitcoin goes to 210, 220, that's a 100% pump to the upside. 1x, 2x rather. It's just doubling in value. That would be like XRP just going to $6. But I'm ready. I'm ready for this breakout right here on XRP. So if you're asking what my play is here, I'm waiting for breakout. I'm waiting for breakout here, up or below. If we get below this zone, that's a whole nother issue for XRP. I will be short, but I will also be shorting on an XRP margin because I will be trying to accumulate more XRP on the way down. If XRP does get to 180 again, I will be buying truckloads of it. Because that might be the last hoorah. It might be the last little consolidation before the big party.
Can you tell us what price you're looking at when you talk about those lines?
Yeah, this zone that I have here, this whole little wide zone is 2666 to 2860. 26 $2.66 up to $2.86, let's just say. And of course, you just put a line at the all-time high up here. And if you draw the resistance line at the downward trending, the peaks of the downward trending lower highs here, we have a high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. You just draw a line there. It needs to break above that, obviously, because if it just keeps hitting that and coming down lower, then we're trending down. But we're coming into an apex. So an apex is where this top downward trending resistance line is hitting the floor, and the floor is right here at 2666. So I would say, I mean, even if I lower this right down just to that, that is the floor. You can see we broke through here and bounced, bounced, bounced. And if I bring this down to the floor, that's the apex we're in. None of this down here exists or matters yet. I can just bring this right up to here. It doesn't matter. So we're coming into this apex right here. This might not even be here. Let me readjust this. This looks like it could be. Even if that, oops, that's the center line. Even if this is the bottom of the flag, that could be. Could be down here. We only have one touch point, so I'm not overly confident that that's the bottom. Could be up here. And we could be winding into a nice little apex here. So a breakout to me is imminent, guys. Anytime now. We're either going to break to the upside or the downside. I just be watching. The upside seems more logical based on everything that's happening. We broke a new high here and we're consolidating. And this is a falling wedge, and falling wedges are technically bullish. And we are already bouncing on support here. I'm just saying that if we do break through this support, then we're back to maybe some lower lows here. And that would be a good buying opportunity, guys. Like right now is a good buying opportunity. Anything under $3 is a good buying opportunity for XRP. But if it does drop below 250, buy more. If it drops below $2 into the 190 range, buy more. That's my advice. That would be the best dollar cost averaging you can do on XRP. Another big player lately is Ethereum. Geez, what a mess this looks like. Let me see what's going on here. So interesting. Let me just redo this. So we had a high and a bit of a double. We had a little breakthrough here and a little higher high there.
So when you work on charts, do they stay like that, or do you have to save them or something, or how does that work?
On Phemex, your line should stay there until you erase them. I just right click on the chart and click remove drawings if I erase them. And if you ever do that by accident or delete something by accident that you wanted there, you can just hit Control Z on your keyboard and it should pop back up. But if we're looking here, this is Ethereum. You go ahead. Did you have another question?
I was just saying thanks.
Oh yeah, no problem. As you can see here, guys, we do have some upward trending support on Ethereum going all the way back to June 22nd when we were down here at $2,102. We've been bouncing on this upward trending support for a bit. Wick down to it here, high, hitting it here. So, I mean, this could be time to pump up. So I'm going to draw this all the way over and I'm going to create the apex. That's an apex. We are an upward trending apex. We have a ceiling at 4,800 and we have an upward trending floor. So to me, a breakout is also imminent here. It's either going to do this and break to the downside and that's it, or it's going to break to the upside and we're going to have a new high.
So would you hedge that or just pick a route?
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the breakout. I mean, you could go long because I'm on the hourly, but if I zoom out, you're going to see a couple things here. We had a pump up and a consolidation and a break up to a higher high. This looks very similar to XRP and Bitcoin, where we pumped up to 123 on Bitcoin and then we hit 124 and came back down. But both of these look like falling wedges, and falling wedges are bullish, depending on how you draw this. And it broke to the upside, retested, and pumped up. And we have another one similarly. And it looks like we might even be breaking out to the upside already on this one. So this could be on Ethereum. Could be a little long happening. It is hitting the top. So we do have, let me just look at this. We do have some support right there. Resistance, 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 resistance. And this goes back to where we had resistance, support. There's something there. I'm not sure what it is. Resistance, support, and resistance. Anyway, this is I don't know how strong of a line this is, but resistance, resistance, we are coming back up to it. And this is a nice big W on the one out. So let's look at this. Possible pump breakout here to the upside, imminent. Somewhere up into this range, and that would be in line with what would happen if we did get above this level. Yeah. So I mean, I'm not opposed to taking a risky position here long, because we did break out of downward trending resistance. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. If I tighten this up, you'll see these touch points are 1, 2. We had some support, breakthrough resistance right here. Resistance, 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 resistance. Broke through here, hitting resistance on this level. Could we come down and retest this before breaking out? Yes. We can also just get ready to pump through. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a riskier trade here because this is not a breakout yet. I'm not going to do it with a huge amount of contracts. Let's say 15,000 contracts. I'm at 14x leverage. I'm going to put a long open rate here on Ethereum. There's my entry. I'm going to put a TP up here at 47.50. %, gain. I'm going to put a stop loss at right now for the time being at 15%. That's too close. My TP is up here. My stop loss is here. We could consolidate back down to retest this because we broke out of this without testing. So I'm going to slide my stop loss down a little bit below this level right here, which is this resistance, that resistance, that resistance, that resistance, and that candle resistance right there. Because if it does come down to retest, that's probably where it's going. We have resistance and support here. And interestingly enough, we got it all the way back to here. Resistance, support, 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 resistance, resistance, support. So to me, that would probably be where it would come down to retest if it's going to do that. Otherwise, might be ready to blow. If it does pop above this level and hold as support, start to climb, I will move my stop loss into profit right under that line, and it will be a no risk trade. I will just grab it right here and move it right to there and let it go. I'm not going to do it now. All right, so I am in an Ethereum long position right now. This looks like a bullish flag forming. I am on the 1 hour time frame, and this could break to the upside. This is a nice big W. No guarantee here, guys. This is a risky trade because I didn't wait for the breakout. So just so you know, this is what I would do if you weren't watching.
Can you tell us the price on that resistance where you put your stop loss?
Oh, the resistance that it's hitting right here.
No, the one that you just drew that you said you'd put your stop loss at.
I put my stop loss under this one here, which is 44.10. If you just go back, you'll look, you'll see a lot of support and resistance here at 44.10. I put my stop loss underneath that. My stop loss is at 43.80.
So are you going to do the thing where you buy if it drops? You're going to do where you buy more?
If it comes down here and bounces on this and starts to climb back up, I might add more contracts, but I don't change my leverage or anything like that. Because then that will just be more confirmation. I would have normally probably waited for that to happen or wait for a breakout here to go long, but since I have you guys here, I might as well just show you what I would do in this case right here, because there's a likelihood that it is breaking to the upside. And if we go back, if that happens, by the way, if that happens, then let's look what will happen for Bitcoin. Bitcoin popped up above 112, came back below, and now it's trying to get back above. We also have on the 1 hour, let's go look at a higher time frame. We might have a W on Bitcoin as well. Let me see here. No, not really. But Bitcoin is making a nice comeback up here, creating what looks like possibly a cup. Right? So is this a cup? Maybe a handle forming, cup and handle. From the 112 down to the bottom of the cup, the breakout would bring us up to from where's the bottom here? 112. Oh, isn't that interesting? It would bring us right to about here. So I might be getting ready to go long on Bitcoin too. If it's right above 112 right now. Let's just go look at XRP because these are the three majors and they kind of correlate with each other. They've been kind of fluctuating with each other, right? So you can trade anything you want, guys, but I tend to stick with these three because I'm either trying to accumulate more of them. And XRP is still kind of winding into its downward trending. Might not have as far to go to get to the top. But if we break through this right here, we could see a really nice bump. But, you know, the very first resistance will be here at 332 on this line. And then after that, it will be the all-time high here at 365. And then after that, we could see all-time highs up here in the $4.30 range. This is a bullish flag, falling wedge, both bullish either way. And we're banging we're bouncing on the floor down here as support. So this whole thing is bullish. Now, there's part of me that wants to go long right here in the middle of this, even though it hasn't broke out yet. So, you know, maybe I will. Maybe I will just withhold it. That's riskier, guys. I always say to wait for the breakouts, but, you know, no risk, no reward sometimes. And what's the worst case scenario? Worst case scenario is it hits here and it doesn't break out and it comes back down and double bottoms again here. So if I go long right here where it's at, I will be very negative here. And then if it gets down here and actually breaks to the floor, I will have to close this trade out with a big loss. So I would have to go long here and then put a pretty tight stop loss to prevent further loss in hopes that it breaks. And this is the final time that it's ready to break out. Because a lot of times it doesn't wait to get all the way to the corner of an apex to break out. We do have a confirmed floor here. Obvious because we had support when we got above it and we came all the way from the top and bounced here and came all the way up and made a new lower high. And we came all the way to the floor and bounced here again. And we're on our way up. This could be the time for the breakout. And of course it could also not be. It could go in a little tighter, but XRP is moving up. Bitcoin might be moving up. And if those two things happen, then Ethereum is moving up. Bitcoin's moving up. If those two things happen, then XRP probably do the same. I mean, it's obvious Bitcoin already broke out of the downward trending channel and it's on its way up. But here's the next problem right here is it's just hitting 112, but it is above it right now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go long on Bitcoin as well, because I'm just going to do what I would do if you guys weren't watching. And I'm going to show you where I'm going to put my stop loss. So I'm going to go long at 112. Normally I would wait for it to go above 112 and hold its support, because right now 112 is major resistance. And there it is very possible that it does not get above 112. I know you're going to say it's above it right now, Nico. It's 112.200. But what I mean is hold above it on the 1 hour or the 4 hour chart, meaning it would have to get above it and hold candles above it. Maybe even for the daily, which I don't think it's doing. But I'm going to take a risk that this is the time that this falling wedge is ready. And since we broke out of the downward trending resistance, I'm going to take a chance. So I just went long on Bitcoin, and I'm going to come down here and I'm put my stop loss at, for now, I'm just going to put it at 15% till I can see where it's on the board. I'm less technical when it comes to this. I just want it on the board for now. Okay, and there it is on the board. Just in case there's a catastrophic dump out of the blue, I'd rather be taken out quickly. And then I'm going to go and look at all of the liquidity here. So let's go to the liquidity heat map. Let's refresh this on the 12 hour. We got some yellow up here at 113.5. We can come up and get it, but we also have some down here at wait a minute, we got some down here at 111.10. Yeah, I would say 110. I probably should lower. I should probably put my stop loss is 111.9. 111.577. I mean, I'm just going to put it a little lower. I'm going to put it down to just 111. And by the way, that is kind of far. At 111, that is a 26% away from my entry. And as far as TP goes, if we do pop above this, if you're going to scalp, it's probably right to here, guys. 113.6, right above this bright yellow on the heat map. And then we might lose some steam there. So let's go look at what that looks like. That would be right here, ironically, at the next resistance level. Okay, so
How did you get that infrared looking thing?
this here is the liquidation heat map, and it's coinglass.com. But in our group, if you go into the help desk over here, and you go up to pinned messages up here, you can scroll down and see right here, CoinGlass liquidation heat map, already set to Bitcoin. Okay, and then over here, when you have this map up, you want to make sure that you're on a exchange that congregates most of the information from the major exchanges. I use Binance. There's a lot of options on here, Bybit, all kinds of different exchanges. I use Binance BTC USD Perpetual. and I go down to the 12-hour and I click the refresh button on model 2. So 113.4 to 113.6 is probably where it's going to pump up to right now. That'll bring us up to this level. So yeah, should I take profit there? Yeah, I will. I'm just going to put my TP at 113.400 just for the time being. That's not a really high normal gain, but as a scalp, it's okay because I know my stop loss is a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, which is not good. This is high. This is more risky, but as we start to go into profit, I'm going to move my stop loss up to break even. I don't just sit there with my stop loss at a 1-to-1 ratio. I'm watching because I'm not using limit orders or anything like that. I'm literally paying attention as it's happening. I'm up on both of these trades right now. 2% on this one, 4.5% on this one, $47 on Ethereum, Bitcoin. Let's go over now and look at the XRP. I might just do all three. I'm sorry, that's an ETH again. Let's go.
So what amount did you go in on with?
Don't trade based on what I trade. Do it based
I'm just trying to understand how much you put in to the start.
to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
On the Bitcoin trade, I have 25,000 contracts. I'm risking $1,000 of my own margin at 25x leverage. So take the 25,000 contracts, divide it by the 25x leverage, and that brings you to $1,000. That's my risk, $1,000 margin. So if it does what I want it to do and it just goes up to where my TP is, from my entry to here, that is a 0.88, a little bit higher than that. That is a 0.97, almost a 1% move to the upside. See right there, 0.98, 1% move. So how much will I make? What is 1% of $1,000? 1,025 times 1% equals $10 times 25x leverage. That's $256. Not very much. That's a scalp. You can do that. I could do that with 1,000. I can do it with 10,000. If I was doing that with $10,000, that would be a $2,500 gain on that. It's still a 1% move times 25. It's still a 25% gain on a 1% move in the market. That's how you make 25% on 1% move.
Quick question about your margin, Nico.
Yes.
You say you're risking 1,000. You're really risking just your stop loss, right?
Oh, that's a good point, guys. So if I did not have my stop loss here, I would be risking $1,000 and 1,026, because if it went against me, it would have to come all the way down and hit my liquidation in order for me to lose that $1,000. But because I have a stop loss at 24%, I'm really only risking 24% of my $1,000. So thanks for bringing that up. Everybody understand that?
So you said a stop loss and a liquidation?
Liquidation is already there automatically. Whenever you place a trade, you have a liquidation amount, which means that's as low as it can go against you before you lose the entire amount that you bet on that trade. I'm not losing all the money in my account. I'm only losing the margin if I get liquidated.
Okay, thanks.
Yes. The margin is just what I'm risking on that trade. But when you put a stop loss at 10, 15, or 20% of your margin or of your entry, you're really only risking 10, 15, 20% of your margin on that trade. And then as this goes into profit and I move my stop loss up to break even or even in profit, I no longer am risking anything. It's a no risk trade at that point.
Nico, am I seeing that correctly, that your stop loss is about the same as the 1%, and that's why the amounts are about the same?
Say that one more time, I'm sorry.
Your stop loss lower is about the same as the 1% higher. Am I looking at that correctly? And that's why the dollars are the same, or about the same?
Well, the 1% move to the upside at 25x leverage will make
Gotcha. Okay.
will make me a 25% gain, which is equal to the 25% loss that I would lose if it went and it hit my stop loss. So
Makes sense.
yeah, I'm risking $250 to make $250, which is a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, which is not good. I normally wouldn't do that, but if I'm confident that it's going to go in profit, which it is so far, I can, as it starts to get above this 112 and start to head towards my TP, I will move my stop loss up to maybe 1% instead of 25%. Now I have a 25-to-1 risk to reward ratio.
Makes sense.
Or I'll move it into profit or break even and I will have no risk at all. But we do have some green, some buying pressure. We are profitable on both of these trades, up $28 on the Bitcoin, up $37 on the Ethereum trade. And still
Hey, Nico.
Yes.
I just wanted to ask if you're still in that WLFI trade from the other day. Maybe I missed.
Yeah, that hit my TP pretty quickly overnight that day, and I never got back in. Let's go back. I moved my stop loss up on that one, WLFI. Look at this thing, man. Let's go to the lower time frame. Yeah, it was bouncing here, and it was a risky trade on this bounce because I was thinking, whenever a token launches and dumps like this, a lot of times it creates what's called the J curve, and the J curve sometimes takes off, and then it's this pump that really goes high. So I was ready to take advantage of that, but as you can see, it did start to pump up. I moved my stop loss somewhere into profit, hoping that it was going to keep going. And when I woke up, it broke below this upward trend line, took me out. I apologize. I didn't mention anything about it after that, but I think I did say to move stop loss into profit on our last call. We are hitting what appears to be a floor here, which is interesting.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes. Are you in it still?
I am. Yes. Trying to decide what to do, but it might go back up a little bit here. I don't know.
Yeah, I would just put your stop loss under the floor right here, right around 0.21. Because if it breaks below this floor, then, and it's an obvious floor because it held support here, here, and here. And so that might be the bottom. And if it breaks below that, you want to get out of this. But if it starts to climb, I don't know what your entry is, but another thing you could do, if you don't mind telling me where your entry was, what price you went in long at.
2365.
2365?
Yes.
So up here somewhere, and then you were profitable for a little bit, and then it fell on you.
Correct.
Yeah, so next time, whenever you get into profit like this, just move your stop loss up to break even. It doesn't mean you're going to make money, but it will make sure that you don't lose money if it falls. Because you're taking it, when you move your stop loss to break even, you have nothing but upside potential and no downside risk anymore. So if it keeps going, you make a lot of money. And if it doesn't, you don't lose anything. But what you can do now, since your first position entry was at 236, let's just say, if you were to go long, if you were to add more contracts right now, come over here and just add more contracts, like double the amount that you bought in before. And I don't know how much, I don't know if you would care to say, but if you just add the same amount of contracts. So in other words, let's say you look down here, whatever contracts you have here, like on Bitcoin right here, I have 25,000. So that would mean me coming back up here and adding another 25,000. I'm not saying to do this. I'm saying this is what would happen if you did that. Your entry would now change from $2.36, or I'm sorry, 23 cents. And it would go 50% of the way between your new entry down here and your old entry. So your entry would now move down to here. Okay.
Okay.
And what would that mean? That would just mean that if it does bounce here and starts to go up, you would be in profit much quicker and at a higher dollar amount. On the other hand, if it does fall below, you will get taken out and you might lose a little bit more because you did that. But the risk is that it bounces here and starts to climb back up. There's no promise that that's going to happen. Also, this could be looked at as a bull flag, bear flag. Bear flags do tend to break to the downside, but we don't really look at flags and formations on the chart on a brand new token. This is pretty much a brand new token that has no, it's like a baby. It hasn't even learned to walk yet. It has no price action, no price history yet to even go back and look at. So usually it's very difficult to say that this bull flag is going to break to the downside because it just launched right here and then dropped, and now it's getting its feet and it's holding a support here. So this could be the time, this could be the bottom, and it could be time for it to start climbing. And it could create a nice big U, which we've seen
So
happen many
what is
times.
the potential of this coin?
This is
World
Liberty Finance. It's basically Trump's, Trump's got a lot behind it. His sons, his two sons, his oldest sons started this company. They started a multi-$100 million trading platform, crypto platform, kind of like a Coinbase, kind of like a Gemini. They're betting millions on it, so I don't know. There is potential there, but Trump token didn't do well. Melania token didn't do well yet. Trump stock's not doing well. Trump, whenever Trump tries to throw something out there, Trump vodka, Trump steaks, all these things that Trump does, I never buy into them. To me, that's gimmicky. And he's the president of the United States. Should we really be getting in on Trump's pump and dumps? Probably not. But does this have potential? Yeah, it does. I mean, I would say potential to at least get back up to where it launched at, but it also has the potential to die on the vine, so to speak. But there's certainly a lot of money behind it. Anybody else know about it? Know more about it?
I heard some investment group in Abu Dhabi got in at $3 billion.
Yeah, let's look at the market cap. Let's go look. Hold on one second. Let me pull it up. We'll go to coin market cap. We will come over here and we will look up World Liberty Finance Project. World Liberty Finance. Guess it's been around for a bit, huh? Just got listed on Phemex, but it looks like it just launched here and then dumped. But man, a year ago, I mean, it has a low volume right now. It's got a market cap is low, 229,000. I don't know if there's billions behind this. This the right one? Yeah. I don't know. Let's go look.
Is WLFI and WLF the same coin?
That was the wrong one. I think that was World Liberty Finance Education that I was just looking at. There's World Liberty Finance. There's this up here. This is it up here. This one's a little different.
The chart you were looking at earlier that you were talking about not looking at bull flags because it's new as a WLFI coin. No, I don't think that's the WLF, the World Liberty Fund coin or finance.
It is World Liberty Finance.
Yeah, but that's WLF that you're looking at right there. The other one that you were looking at was WLFI.
This is WLFI, World Liberty Financial Institution or something.
Okay, it's showing up as two different ones online.
And it has the little eagle next to it. It has the logo of their company. Why is WLFI's price down today? But here it's showing a $5 billion market cap. And we do have a high back here at. Okay, so this makes more sense. This is where it was at the peak when it launched and then dropped. So this was 9-1 just 2 days ago, and it's dropped. So this is it, because this just launched right here on the 1st. I don't know. I don't hold my breath on these things, but I mean, you can make a quick dollar, and obviously, some people made a lot of money in this group on Trump token when it launched. Because we got in on the right at the right time. I mean, I'm not scared to go. I'm not scared to buy into this. I'm not scared to do. Let's just I'll take a position here. A 10x, a small one. Because if it holds above the floor here, there is a good chance. See, where's my liquidation? Liquidation's far away. I'm going to put a stop loss under this right about at 20 cents.
And that thing that should be the bottom, and if it skyrockets here by next year, I mean, I think it's a good point.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I mean, 22 cents is a pretty much at the bottom, and if it skyrocketed, it is the bank. I was reading it right now. It's the bank, or
Yeah.
that the Trump's sons are doing.
Yeah. This could be a pretty good price to go long. The difference is that buying it and just sitting on it and waiting for the price appreciation is much safer than trading with leverage. If you're going to trade this with leverage, you might want to use lower leverage, because obviously if it drops, you can go against you pretty quickly. But let's just look, let's do it. I'm going to put a take profit. I'm just going to put a take profit target at 0.35 cents just for the time being, which would be a 558% gain. Just to get it on the board in case I'm not paying attention to this, which is back up here. In fact, I'll just move that to previous high, 32 cents. And my stop loss is here. My liquidation is pretty low. I could give it more room, but I'm not gonna. I'm actually in profit on it already, 1%, $5, $6. Let's just see. I don't know.
Nico, before this, you were going to talk about XRP. Are you going to go back to XRP and get in, or nah?
XRP is on its way up to the top of this little downward trending channel. So it probably will get there at least. What the hell? I mean, it did bounce on the center line, and it's done that a few times. This is a big M right here. That's a little concerning, but at the same time, this is a falling wedge, and we are up against major support. So if it is going to break out, this will be the time to do it. I'm going to go ahead and go along there as well. Again, this is risky, guys, because I'm doing all of these trades before the breakout, which is not what I normally recommend. But so you can either watch and laugh at me later, or you can participate and follow and do the same. But just know that these are a little riskier because of that. So yeah, I'm gonna go long on XRP right now as well. And my liquidation is down here at this line, which I don't like. It's a little too close. So I'm gonna lower my leverage to 14, get that down a little lower. It's not low enough. Yeah, that should be low enough for now. And then here I will put a stop loss under the upward trending support, because if we do break this upward trending support, if we can't get through the top here and hold on top of it and break out to the upside, then we probably will fall back down to this level again, and there's no reason to ride that down. So I'm going to put my stop loss right here under this dip, which is well below the upward trending support. That would be at $2.80. XRP stop loss at 2.80. That's a 30%. And my TP target, I'm going to put at 450. Let's just put it at $4 for now. So we have a stop loss, and TP is way far away. It's too far away. I mean, if we do break out here, there is a potential to go all the way up there, but we might hit some consolidation here, and here on the way up, because this is the previous all-time high. So I'm going to just make that a little thicker. But I'll just keep my TP up there, and instead of worrying about hitting a take profit target, I will just move my stop loss up as it goes. 4 open positions, guys, all in profit at the moment. It's not rocket science sometimes. I'm only up $100 total, but they're all squeezing a little bit into profit. Doesn't mean they will stay there. These are a little riskier. That's why I use stop losses. So whenever we use a stop loss, guys, the whole point of that is to stop the loss. Try not to move it. Try not to, oh, it's almost hit my stop loss. I'm gonna get it out of the way. And then as soon as you move it lower, it goes lower. And now you just potentially are losing more money. There is a time when it will eventually turn around, and you could have possibly avoided being stopped out. But do you want to go negative that far to find out how low something can go? Because a lot of times it can go lower than you can afford it to go. The cool thing about crypto is that if you have enough money and you get to the point where you have hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in your account, you can buy your way out of a negative trade. You can literally just pad it. If it gets closer to your stop loss, you can, I mean, even if you don't have a stop loss, if it gets close to your liquidation, you can just buy more contracts, or, and push your liquidation further away to give it room to come back around. Very risky. Don't recommend it. But in other words, you could, ride out the storm if you got enough money. You go long on Bitcoin at 110,000 and Bitcoin drops all the way to 70. You could just wait. You're going to be negative 30 grand, but you could just wait for it to come back around and go back up to 120, 130, 140 if you got enough money. I never recommend doing that, guys, but certainly possible. The only way that could go against you is if either you run out of money or it just keeps going down all the way to zero, which probably won't happen. All right, guys, we're 140 now. We've been on for an hour and 40 minutes. We do have a onboarding call. What is today? Today's Wednesday, not onboard. We have a basics call. Yes, thank you, Bill. We got basics call coming up at 2 o'clock. That is a great call for all of you to get on, especially if you're new. And Bill's going over the basics. I highly recommend it for those of you who are new, and even if you're not, even if you've been here for a while, get on the basics call. As you can see, we are kind of trying to move up. Let's go back to Bitcoin and see what it's doing. It is at 112,300. It's still trying to hold above, still trying to get above the 112. It's having a difficult time. Got above it here, came back below, dropped a little bit, came back above. It's trying to hold above it. And if we look at the liquidity heat map, it does look like it's got some liquidity above us to come snatch up here in the 113.5 range. That's why I have a TP up here at 113,300. Any other questions? Lots of chat questions. Let's see, maybe keep a paper wallet, right, Bill? Paper wallet. Yep, I see a lot of people commenting from earlier when I was talking about being in or out of the system. Guys, years ago, I don't really tell this story, but years ago, I used to work for a company called Global Prosperity Group. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of it, but that was probably 30 years ago, 25, 30 years ago. And I used to sell tickets to seminars, and these seminars were all held offshore. They were all held in the Bahamas or Mexico or Aruba or Bermuda. And they were all held outside of the United States for a reason, because the speakers that were speaking at these events were banned in the United States. They wrote books that were banned in the United States. They had products and services that were banned in the United States. And for some reason, I fell down this rabbit hole back there in my 20s. And I went down the rabbit hole of, the creature from Jekyll Island and David Icke and all this stuff way back then, guys. I mean, people thought I was crazy. My mother, people I used to go to these events, and, I got pictures. I shook hands with David Icke, and, I not only sold tickets, but I was at one time the MC. I would get up on stage and welcome the next speaker. And these guys were the reason why we had these events offshore, is because the information that they were talking about was esoteric knowledge that was just not allowed in the US. Why? Because the US government didn't want you to know about certain things. They didn't want the American people to know that there were products and services around the world that could allow you to become sovereign, to basically exit the system. I'm not advocating this right now, guys, because there is a big price to pay when you do that. They don't like it, first of all. The IRS can hunt you down. Hopefully the IRS goes away soon, but they were going after people that had, a bank accounts in the Western Samoa back then. I mean, they didn't care what jurisdiction it was. So, these trust guys will come out and they'll talk about how you can open a bank account in Samoa and you can make money in another country. And we have 20-30% per month interest earning, investments, and the money can go into your bank account in Samoa, and, you'll never pay taxes on it, and blah, blah, blah. And you'll be sovereign, and you can just move to another country eventually and be rich, right? Without paying. All of that sounded great. And of course it was said in a totally much more believable manner than what I just said. But the IRS, and there was retired IRS agents speaking at these events, telling people that there is no law requiring you to pay income tax and all this stuff. And so, a lot of people just went down that rabbit hole. They even denounced their citizenship. They became patriots and they expatriated to these countries. And it was a big thing back then, guys. I don't know, a lot of you heard about it, I'm sure. A lot of you are probably looking into it now. But yeah, I was close. I had a Costa Rican driver's license. I was ready to get pulled over in the United States and say I didn't need my driver's license. I was ready for it, but it never happened. But anyway, I tell you all this because I've seen a lot of people go that route and it didn't fare well for them. Not because they weren't right, and not because it isn't true, and not because you don't have the right to do that, but it's because the powers that be just have way more money and resources than you. And they can make your life a living hell. So do I recommend it? No, not really. But, can you be part in and part out? Yes. They act like they don't care. They act like you're welcome to denounce. There are forms you can fill out to give up your citizenship, to move to another country, and you will no longer have to pay taxes, but you would have to earn all your income from that other country. And there are ways to do it legally, yes. But I've been around the world. I've been to a lot of places. I really don't want to live somewhere else. A lot of people complain about the US, but in my opinion, there is no place better. Miami is about as close as you're going to get to feeling and acting and seeing and living in another country, but still being on US soil because of the melting pot of people from around the world. And, there's certain parts of Miami that does not speak English at all. You better learn Spanish if you go. Even the signs, the street signs and everything are all in Spanish. But I say that because I see, I know that there's a lot of people in this group that love all that, the idea of all that, and I don't have anything against it at all. Do your research. Just be careful. Just be careful. I'm all for it, and you should have a right to all of that stuff. You should have a right to listen. The old flag of the snake that said "Don't tread on me." One of my favorite things. Just leave me alone. Stay out of my way. Stay out of my business. I don't need your permission to do anything. I still feel that way. But at the same time, when I go to do something that is financial related in the system, they ask for certain things. And in order for me to have those things, in order for me to get that thing done without having those things, I would just need to already have millions of dollars in cash just sitting there. And then even that creates a problem, because if you have millions of dollars in cash just sitting there without any paper trail or any way to justify why you have it, that's another problem altogether. So this is just the way the world is, guys. I'm not saying to not do it. I'm just saying, just be careful doing it. For those of you who are just trying to secretly, get out of the system. Yeah, Emmanuel, the mayor of Miami, all in on crypto. Florida, I like Florida, guys. I mean, the only thing I don't like about it, there's no mountains. It's hot all the time. That kind of sucks. But as far as the laws are concerned, I mean, Governor DeSantis, probably the best governor I've ever seen in the history of my life. And his philosophy is that, whatever California or New York is doing, he just does the opposite. And that's worked quite well. The Hillsborough County Sheriff gets on TV here locally and says right to the camera, if you're a thief and you plan on breaking into any of the residents' houses in this city, we highly discourage you to do that, because we tell them they need to shoot you dead if you do. If you get in front of the traffic at an intersection and stand there holding hands trying to block traffic, our citizens in Florida are instructed to run you over. That's what they say here in Florida. That's the way it should be, right? You're going to sit in front of cars in traffic and not let somebody go by when they're late for work, or maybe on the way to the hospital because their wife's giving birth or whatever. And if they just try to nudge forward, you're going to bang on their hood and try to break their glass. What are you going to do? Pull them out of the car? If you're in fear for your life, run them over. That's what they're saying here on the news. Why should you get dragged out of your car and beaten to death by a mob of idiots? Run them over, right? I'm good with that. I won't even feel bad. And I'm very sympathetic and empathetic to people. I want to help people. I like people, but when there's people just being idiots and doing stupid shit out there, you see those guys that pull up in front of trucks and then they slow down until the trucker stops, and then they get out and try to steal and hurt the trucker. It's like, run them over. Get yourself out of there. Self-defense. You have a stand your ground law here in Florida. You have a no permit required, no conceal permit required. You can conceal a weapon here in Florida. And people think that's dangerous. Well, it's actually safer. The states that have the states like Texas that have laws, certain counties and that have laws that require households to have a gun, have lowest gun deaths, lowest crime rates. The states that try to ban the guns, and I don't care if you're against me or with me on this. I don't care if you're against guns. I'm just saying the facts is that the states with the highest gun laws, the cities, Chicago, New York, have the worst gun crime that there is. Does it make sense? Yes, it makes sense, because criminals don't follow the law. You ban guns and have everybody turn in their guns. Do you think criminals are going to turn in their guns? No, only law-abiding citizens. So again, I don't have a bunch of guns, but I do believe I'd rather have one than not need it than to need one and not have it. But anyway, with all that being said, I don't even know where I was going with that. It's just be careful out there, guys. This is America. You do have a right to your freedom, and you have a right to make a living. You have a right to get rich. You have a right to protect your assets, your family, all that stuff. Learn the laws, understand what you can and can't do. But I will tell you this, the more money you have, the easier it is for you to do all those things. So I always say that make getting rich your first priority. It's like when you're on a plane, the stewardess is telling you, in case of an emergency, put your oxygen mask on first before helping the person next to you. Because if you can't breathe, you can't help anybody. So help yourself first, get rich first, make as much money as you can first, then go structure yourself. And I know there's a lot of you already here that already have a lot of money, because I have one-on-one calls with you. And I know that a lot of you already know all this stuff, but preaching to the choir with most of you, but that's why I don't worry. Like companies, when you're starting a business, most people spend more time trying to think about what the colors of their logo and what their business card should look like, and setting up entities and what name for my LLC should I come up with. How about just go sell your product first? Go sell it. Go make sure that you have a viable product or service first. Make money first. Once you've proven that this thing you're trying to do makes money, then go get it all creative with how you want to present yourself to the world. But see if it works first. Go make money first. That's what I always say. Trading, people ask me all the time, what should I do about taxes and how do I get around paying taxes if I make money, and should I trade in a trust and all this stuff? How about just get good at this first? Make money first in your own name. Doesn't matter. Just open up an account, get started. Don't worry about it. Decentralized. No one knows you exist anyway. Till you tell them. And so it's easier that way too, guys, because you just get out of your own way and stop thinking about all the things that aren't really important until they become important. Is all that stuff important? It becomes important over time, but in the beginning, it's not. Captain Johnny asked, Nico, what was the company that helps with business credit? If you go into the Discord, I think we have that under official
links.
Yeah. Official links. It is Fund and Grow. Use my referral link in here. You'll get some special privilege because they know me over there. I've already referred a bunch of people, and a lot of people in this group have already gotten tens of thousands of dollars worth of business lines of credit. Where is it? Fund and Grow, right up here. Secure business lines of credit up to 150,000 with zero interest for up to 18 months. Click the link below to learn more right here. Fund and Grow, get started. Since I started using Fund and Grow, guys, I got like 9 gold and platinum American Expresses, like ridiculous. It's just like one right after another, approved with no limits. What can you do with that? What can you do with that amount of available business credit, guys? By the way, you do need to set up an LLC, or if you already have a business, they will use your business. If you don't, they will create one. It's not cheap. It's like $3,000 to hire them. But what they do is they'll create the LLC, and they will make sure your credit score is good enough. Because although when you get a business line of credit, it doesn't go against your personal credit when you use that card. Even if you default, it doesn't go against your personal credit. But they do check your personal credit when they're first approving you. And you do have to have above a certain amount, like 680 and above or something like that. But once you get it, then they show you how to use it, not for the purposes of going shopping, but for the purposes of building more lines of credit. How could this benefit you if you got 3 or 4 different cards with 50, 80, $100,000 of available credit on there, business credit? Well, pretty easily. You can first of all, instead of getting a cash advance on your gold Amex card, which has 100,000 line of credit, by the way, with 18 months of zero interest and 18 months with no interest, that means you could take a cash advance. Now, cash advances are expensive, so we don't do that. So what they do is they use certain companies like, what is it called?
I think Plastique was one of them.
Plastique is one of them. Yeah, Plastique. Plastique is a company that will charge your card. You give them the card, tell them the amount you want. They will charge your card that amount as if it's a purchase. Let's say you need 50 grand to close on a duplex. You want to invest in a duplex. You don't have any cash, but you got a $100,000 line of credit on your business line of credit. But you need 50 grand to buy this quadplex or duplex. You go to Plastique. They charge your card 50 grand. And they wire you the money minus their fee. Now you have 50 grand, and it just looks like a purchase on your credit card. And you have zero interest for 18 months. Buy the duplex, remodel it, put tenants in there, refinance it, pull the cash back out, pay your card back off. Now you're building good credit, good business lines of credit. Now they increase your line of credit to 150 or 250. Take out 25 grand, do the same thing, buy XRP before it shoots to the moon. Now, is that a gamble? Yes. What happens if XRP doesn't shoot to the moon? Now you owe your credit card company 50 grand. Yes. Make those payments. Build your credit. If you have income from some other source, then you just use that to help build your credit. However, if you ever get in a jam and default, guess what? It doesn't get reported to your personal credit, and you just reapply and get different lines of credit. I'm not telling you to default. I never intend to. I want to build relationships with Amex, with Chase Bank. I have nice lines of credit, business lines of credit now, and my credit score is pushing 800 now because of this. So and not just with business lines of credit, but just being very smart with my credit. So now, is that in the system? Yeah, it's in the system. But I'm playing the game, guys. You got to play the game in the systems. The people who created the game, you can either get good at the game or be pissed off at the game, that the game exists. But I'd much rather have it and not need it than to need it and not have it, just like a gun. It's nice to have hundreds of thousands of dollars available to you in case you need it. To close on real estate, to invest in businesses, to invest in investments, right? Emergencies, bills, whatever. So I recommend all of you try to do that. It doesn't even matter if you don't have a business. Set one up, set up an LLC, call them up. They'll help you get structured. If your personal credit is less than perfect, they have a sister company that will help you get your credit straightened out first before they start applying for business lines of credit. Angel, is KYC definitely needed, Nico? For what? What are we asking about? KYC. Depends on what you're talking about. With banks, yes. With credit cards, yes. With Phemex, no. With Coinbase, yes.
So you don't supposed to give your identity to Phemex?
You can KYC with them, but you don't have to.
Oh, okay. It's not because I did. I thought you had to.
You do if you want to withdraw directly to your bank account. If you want to use their third-party vendor to withdraw directly from them a fiat currency to your bank account, they will require you to give all your personal information to verify that it's you. But you don't need to, and you can always send crypto to Coinbase and then cash it out there. I just personally keep the only thing I have connected to my bank that's KYC for me is Coinbase. I only need one. I don't need a bunch of them connected. I don't need them to know where all my other accounts are, right? So if I want to move money from Phemex, I'll move it to Coinbase and then cash it there and then send it to my bank account from there. If I want to get crypto back out of crypto back into regular money, I will just do it through Coinbase. But that is in the system, guys. That's using a centralized exchange to do it. The other way to do it is find someone personally who wants the Bitcoin or the crypto you have that's willing to give you cash, and you just transfer it to them. Now you just earned a bunch of money in crypto that no one knows about, and you just sold it to someone for cash. So no one knows about that. But then again, now you got a lot of cash. What are you going to do? You're going to go deposit that in a bank? Or are you going to go buy a boat? I don't know. It's up to you. Is cash going to still be a thing in another few years? I'm not so sure. We might go cashless. I don't want that to happen, but that might be the way we're headed. By the way, all this scare, by the way, guys, the basics call starting right now. So I highly recommend you all get on it. I'm gonna wrap this call up anyway. Yeah, cash has its own issues. If you deposit it, too much of it, they're gonna wonder where it's at. They're gonna report it to the Fed. If you get on a plane with too much of it, they're gonna confiscate it. Guys, this is just the way the world is. It's very difficult to do anything outside of the system anymore. So either get good at playing the game in the system, use all of the tax loopholes and strategies that the ultra wealthy use to minimize your tax liabilities. It's okay. It's okay to get rich, and people know that you're rich. Doesn't even matter if you use the right structures and the right entities. I mean, The only other option is get rich and then go buy some log cabin out in the woods and have your solar panels paying for everything and just totally exit the rat race. I know a lot of you may want to do that, and you can do that, but you can do that anyway. All
Can
right,
you
guys.
go over one more time real quick, just the setup for making the trading position on Bitcoin?
I am long. I went long on Bitcoin. My entry was 112,246. What I'll do is I'll take a screenshot of this rather than type each one. Take a screenshot of the entries and the margins and the stop losses and the take profit targets over here of all the trades that I just did. So right here is the entry, and here is the margin, the amount I risk. Here's the leverage that I use. I don't recommend you doing the same thing I did. It all just depends on your personal financial situation. Over here, you got the TP and the SL. But I am long on Bitcoin at 112, and my stop loss is 111, and my TP is 113,400. But I'm going to put that in the trade signal channel right now. Oops. My trades from the live Zoom. There it is.
Hey, Nico, just a quick question.
Yes.
So I guess what I really wanted to know, like just using the Phemex platform to off-ramp either to Coinbase or Cash App, taxes, KYC, how does that work?
You can withdraw from
Just for monthly income, I'm sorry.
Say again?
Just for monthly income, I'm sorry.
You mean if you're taking money out, like if you're taking money out to pay your bills every month?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, legally it's taxable. If you make a profit in crypto and convert it to US dollars and, take it out, then technically, if you ask an IRS agent, they're going to say that's taxable. But they will only know about it if you tell them. Now, what do I mean by that? Am I advocating not telling them? No, I'm just telling you that Phemex is not reporting what you're making to anybody. So you would have to. But if you send it to Coinbase, let's say you put $1,000 in Coinbase from your bank account. There's a paper trail showing that you bought $1,000 at one point. Let's say it was last year. And then you send that $1,000 somewhere. It leaves Coinbase. It's not there anymore because you sent it to Phemex, but no one knows where you sent it. And then you turn that $1,000 into $100,000 trading. And then you send that $100,000 back to Coinbase because you want to take some profit, right?
That's a taxable event.
That's taxable, yeah. So now you started with 1,000, you got 100,000. Coinbase is going to make it look like you have a $99,000 gain. If you sell it to USD and transfer that back to your bank, you technically would be probably on the hook for taxes on that $99,000. Is there a way around that? Yes, you got to, you could set up your account in a trust and, and pay yourself as an employee. And even if the trust made $100,000 in profit, you only paid yourself $10,000 that year. So you're only paying taxes on $10,000, but the trust now has to take that profit and invest in other things. That could be, it's tax deferred. There is a legal way to do that. I can't even explain it in the right way. I'm not a CPA or accountant, but there is a way to do that where you can kick that can down the road indefinitely and then leave the trust and will to heirs and things like that. But you would have to talk to an accountant or CPA. I would recommend probably getting in touch with that Jake Claver dude, the guy that we talked about on one of our previous calls. I will post his contact information for his company. I think I already did once, but they help people protect their assets and reduce their tax liability. Now, if you're day trading for income, that's a different story. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to not be in a tax liable situation. Now, your choice is just to pay your taxes, report it. report it every year like you normally would. This is how much I made day trading crypto, and just play by the rules, or I don't know, wing it, see what happens.
Gotcha.
I
So
don't.
basically, I'm gonna set up a business account, and
That's what I would do. Yes, if you're going to trade for income, I would set up a business account. I would change, maybe open up your account name and Coinbase, or add your business name to it, or call Coinbase representative and find out what you need to do to change the name of your account to an entity, or maybe just Google that information. You might be able to find it online without having to ask them, and just do what you're supposed to do. And then when you start withdrawing, withdraw to the business account, and then don't take it all out. Let it stay in the business account and just pay yourself what you need as an employee of that business.
gotcha. And the guy Cleaver or Clever, that guy, is he pinned or on the school app or Discord or anything? Or should I get with Bill Cook or something?
Let me see. I don't know if we actually, I'm not officially endorsing him or recommending him yet. I think I was still researching him. So I think we talked about it on the live call, but I did not post it anywhere yet. I did not share it anywhere yet, but I will. If you send me a DM asking for his information, I will send it. I will send you a link to his website and his Facebook page, so you can go do your own research. I'm not really recommending him. He just seems to be the guy out there right now talking about how to do all these structures.
Gotcha. And I appreciate the opportunity, Nico.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Nico. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Emmanuel, my stop loss on Bitcoin signal right now is 111. 111.086 to be exact. Joseph, using crypto debit cards or credit cards, would that be taxable event? I mean, none of it's not profit, guys. If you put $10,000 in your Coinbase account and put it in USDC and got one of their debit cards and you started buying stuff with it, you're just spending the money you just bought crypto with. You didn't make a profit. So no, it has to be a profitable event, I believe. But I'm not your tax accountant or CPA, so don't take everything I say as a fact. Definitely get financial advice from. We do have someone that's supposed to be speaking soon. Bill's no longer on here to answer this, but there is a tax person in our group, and she has sent me a message. I'm going to get with her. We're going to set up a call, and we'll announce it, and she will go over all the stuff that you're supposed to be doing to keep compliant, if you're going to do the compliant thing with crypto. All right, guys, I got to run. Get on the basics call with Bill. If you haven't already been on one, get on there now. He's on there right now. He put the link in the chat, also in the Discord group. That would be a good call to be on. I will let you know if I see any changes in these trades that we did. I did post the trades, all 4 of them. I have one in XRP, one at WLFI, and one Ethereum and one Bitcoin right now. They're all in profit at the moment, and stop losses and TPs are all in place. See you guys tomorrow. By the way, we are going to have our normal Thursday night webinar. If you want to get on that, just we post the links in our free Facebook group. We'll share it in the Discord group as well. But if you don't see it in the Discord group, just ask for it before 7 p.m. tomorrow. I'll be trading live again tomorrow night, and then I'll see you on Friday. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day.